And our correspondent Aisha Khanum joins us from Bengaluru. Aisha, you know, Bangalore is a city that has seen a number of startups emerge in the recent years. Have you been able to talk to the locals there, the entrepreneurs there? How are they seeing this initiative being launched today?
Yes, absolutely. Bangalore can be considered as the hub of startups, and it can be seen as a cradle for the startups. As we have seen a number of startup dreams making into reality since past few years. And the important aspect of this platform in Bangalore is that Bangalore being a knowledge capital and IT hub, and also the venture capitalists and angel investors are based in Bangalore. So this makes easy for the young entrepreneurs to start their ideas, to start innovation, and then to implement these ideas into a full-fledged startup company. So Bangalore has been the hub of startup activity. Remember, Infosys is a huge example for a startup. Biocon is a huge example for startup which started several years ago, and today these are billion-dollar companies. And to talk about the recent startups, we can say that Flipkart is one such success example where it started on a small scale, and today you can see Flipkart is soaring heights, and this is an opportunity where today the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, will be launching a blueprint and action plan for the startups. So this is being seen as an opportunity by the young entrepreneurs like Shweta Shetty I have with me. She's a founder and CEO of a company called Web Bazaar, and this is a company, Web Bazaar, which is a small startup which can be seen as a small company, but this company gives wings to the startups. They help the startups go online within 4 hours. So Shweta, this is a big platform that you see here, and what are the expectations that you have from Prime Minister's action plan with regard to opportunity for young entrepreneurs like you?
Okay. Actually, I'm pretty excited about this new Startup Nation initiative that the Prime Minister has started, and along with the other initiatives like Digital India, all the things that he has in store for all of us is very exciting time for us to be an entrepreneur now. And we also are very connected to the startup ecosystem. Our product Web Bazaar Express is for startups to kickstart their online journey in less than 4 hours. They get a complete website within the 4 hours time frame, and we are very excited about this. From the Startup Nation initiative, we are looking forward to easier access to funding for startups like us, and also a better tax regime. If GST comes along, it will be really great, because products like this have service tax, VAT, and there are so many implications to build a physical channel with a product like this. Yes. So we are looking.
This is an opportunity also for people like you, where rather than being an employee, you are turning into employers. You are generating jobs. You are bringing in a lot of skilled force into this industry. So how do you see this? Being employers, from just being employees.
I mean, it's phenomenal. Web Bazaar, we are a 30 people organization now, and we have really, super success stories within our organization. In fact, we had a team member who was our security person, but we helped him and taught him designing, and now he is a full-fledged designer in our organization. So we are also, in a very small way, changing lives and bringing a lot of opportunities to people around us.
So that is what as Shweta Shetty is talking about.
Aisha, if you could just ask her one last question, which is, as a woman entrepreneur, how easy or difficult is it for her to really go out and start up her own venture?
Yes, absolutely, Shweta. As a woman entrepreneur, how easy or how tough is it for you to start up a venture as such? Because we have seen success stories of women entrepreneurs in Bangalore as such, but a young entrepreneur like you and a woman. So how accessible you have the entire infrastructure of the startup?
I wouldn't say it is very easy. It has its own set of challenges. You need to have a supportive family, first of all, to help you take wings and get out in the real world. Starting up the venture also, there were quite a few challenges to just get our company name registered. Yeah, I mean, there are many such challenges as a woman entrepreneur. It's not easy to survive in a really thick man's world.
That's right. So that is Shweta Shetty feels that it's not easy, and she has made it. She has started the journey a hard way, and she says that all these hurdles, as she is expecting now, that all these hurdles will be removed. By the action plan which the Prime Minister is going to present before the nation. So
Right.
this is what the young entrepreneurs like Shweta Shetty and others are expecting, that there will be ease of doing business, and the young ideas to take shape, to translate into reality. An effort like that is being initiated by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi will definitely fulfill taking the startups to a newer heights.
Right, Aisha and Shweta Shetty, thanks for joining us. We'll get back to you for the latest. Now, startup entrepreneur Ashish Goenka joins us from Mumbai. Thanks for joining us, Ashish. Now, we heard a young entrepreneur telling us what she expects from the Startup India initiative being launched today. As a young entrepreneur, what are your expectations today? Because we've heard entrepreneurs saying that there are several roadblocks to starting up a new venture. What are your expectations from the government rolling out this initiative today?
Hi, thank you. So there are, as you said, lot of challenges as a startup when you're kind of starting up. There's registration, which takes much longer than it does in foreign companies. There's also the idea of red tape and a lot of, how do you go about patents? How do you go about actually registering your name of a company, etc. But I think the bigger thing that challenges people is, where do you actually go for this information as well? There's not one particular source of information, and the government can do a lot in terms of making that information more transparent. The government can do a lot in terms of also being the kind of conduit to different types of sources of funding that is available for startups. I know in foreign countries there are a lot of enterprise investment schemes, venture capital schemes, which incentivize investment into small companies and startups, both from the government and also from the private sector. That kind of help from the government on the policy level would be very interesting. Taxation remains a big problem, but I think one of the other problems is also the fear of failure, because it's very difficult to actually close a company. The bankruptcy laws are so difficult in India. So there's a lot of things that need to be addressed, probably more at the infrastructure level, in terms of making things easier to do business for startups, for entrepreneurs, for small businesses, and I think that ripple effect will
But
make
Ashish,
India
there's
overall
this
shine. And
Ashish, there's this constant comparison being done that the kind of environment that the US or the UK have is what India needs. But is it really fair to compare the situation in the two different countries? Because really, the infrastructure and the resources are completely different.
I agree. I'm not comparing I'm not saying we need to make or replicate a Silicon Valley in Bangalore or in Bombay. What I would say is that the processes that are required, so the government has already taken a lot of initiatives. So for example, you can actually go online and search now for company names. You can actually go online and look at patents which are registered, trademarks which are registered, and try and work. But the problem is that they're there, but they're not complete. So it's not that difficult to actually complete that process and make sure that the easy low-hanging fruit is quite is there to be taken, and we kind of acquire that easily from a startup perspective. We have access to those tools and techniques and information that we need in order to be able to start quickly and grow quickly. So it's not just about replicating what Silicon Valley does, because there's a lot of things there, as you say correctly, that don't necessarily translate completely to India and the Indian context.
Right.
But there are things that the government can do to learn from the simpler things which are applicable across continents, across borders, but also across size of company. Even larger companies would benefit from some of the same laws as the startup companies would.
All right, one last question, Ashish. The Prime Minister has always constantly emphasized on the fact that how we need to become job creators instead of job seekers. And even though 2015, saw around 80,000 jobs being only generated by startups, how do you see this initiative really helping in India becoming a nation of job creators instead of job seekers?
I think One is, by this initiative, Startup India initiative, the government is putting the Indian startup ecosystem on the map, on the global map, which will obviously bring a lot of more funding, a lot more interest from different types of partners and ecosystem partners. We've started to see a lot of incubator accelerators from overseas also take an interest in India. We ourselves at Bombay Connect, we run a small startup center in Mumbai, and we're growing. And you know, although my team is only about 8 strong, but we've had like more than 4,000 people come here, work, build businesses, grow. They've gone on to build much bigger businesses. The entrepreneur is actually has to be the driving force of the economy, and the government is doing very well to actually put that at the as a central agenda for India. And I think that is really what is going to drive this kind of employment and employability. I think one of the challenges on the same front, which the government is also probably trying to address through the Skill India campaign, is how to actually skill people, how to make them employable, how to make talent accessible to the startup community, because it's not easy working for a startup either as a founder or even as an employee, because the funds are low, the job security is not there. So it is very important to have that ecosystem support around it, and I think that will help to develop and flourish both from the economy, both from a startup and kind of low-hanging fruit perspective, but also into small, medium companies and further on. And that will obviously generate a lot more employment, and it's very important for us as a country.
All right, Ashish Goenka, as you rightly said, that entrepreneurs have to be the driving force of the economy, and all eyes will be on the Startup India initiative that will be launched by the government today. Thanks for joining us at DD News. Well,